Extended ending. I looked at the contract again, then at William, then around the room. I honestly thought someone was playing a joke on me. I don't understand, I whispered. There are people here with decades of experience. There are people with master's degrees. There are people who know far more than I ever will. William smiled. That's true. But tell me, how many of them gave up their last lunch to buy coffee for someone they thought could never repay them? The room became silent. No one laughed. No one looked surprised. Instead, several people around the table nodded. One woman smiled through tears. Another man quietly said, I was tested the same way. William walked to the large window overlooking the city. For years, I believed success was about making money. I was wrong. He turned back toward us. It's easy to be generous when you have millions. The real test is whether you're kind when you have almost nothing. I felt my throat tighten, because he was right. When I bought him that coffee, I wasn't trying to impress anyone. There were no cameras, no audience, no reward waiting for me. It was simply the right thing to do. William picked up a small wooden box from his desk. I have one last gift. Inside was the same paper coffee cup I'd handed him months earlier. I stared at it in disbelief. You kept it. He laughed. It reminds me why I started all this. Then he pulled out a faded photograph. It showed dozens of smiling volunteers standing together. In the middle was a much younger William. Standing beside him was another young man. Who's that? I asked. William looked at the picture for a long moment. He bought me lunch. When I had nothing, I looked back at him. So, someone helped you first? He nodded. 40 years ago. I promised myself that if I ever became successful, I'd spend the rest of my life looking for people like him. He smiled. And today, I finally found another one. A year later, our foundation had expanded into 6 cities. Thousands of families had received food. Children had been given school supplies. Veterans found housing. Single parents received emergency assistance. But the moment I'll never forget didn't happen inside the office. It happened outside the same grocery store where everything began. One Saturday morning, I stopped there to buy milk. As I walked toward the entrance, I noticed a young woman sitting beside an elderly man. She handed him a hot cup of coffee. Then she sat beside him. Not for a minute. Not for a photograph. She stayed. They laughed together. As I walked past, I heard the old man ask, Why did you stop? She smiled. My grandfather always told me, you should never walk past someone who feels invisible. I froze. She had no idea who I was. She didn't know William. She wasn't part of the foundation. She was simply continuing the kindness she had been taught. I looked toward the sky and smiled, because in that moment, I finally understood something. William had never been trying to create a charity. He had been creating a chain. One person helping another, who helps another, who helps another. A chain that could outlive every one of us. Before leaving the office that evening, I walked into William's old office. The desk was exactly as he had left it. On the corner sat a stack of blank white business cards. I picked one up. For a long moment, I thought about throwing them away. Instead, I smiled. I turned the card over and wrote 5 simple words. Pass kindness to someone else. Then I slipped the card into my wallet. Not because I wanted people to remember my name, but because I hoped that one day, someone would need a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can change a life. Just like a $5 cup of coffee. Changed mine forever. The end.